Welcome to Movie Speeching. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take good care. Spontaneous is the name of the movie. Please like and subscribe to get every update. We saw Mara sitting in class bored to death. She dropped her pencil and when she grabbed it, the girl in front of her exploded. Mara said the girl was very nice and normal, not particularly quick to anger. Everyone ran out of the classroom, except her. They were never really friends, just classmates. All the students loved the dead girl, but there was one person in particular. As the children run out of the building, Tess finds Mara out front and asks her what happened. I couldn't believe it, but then he saw Mara's shoes. Forensic scientists collect evidence in the classroom. The only thing really damaged in the explosion was the girl. Everything else was, as Mara said, cosmetic. His classmates were taken to the police station and questioned. Mara joked with the policeman, but he did not see her spirit. They then take a shower and Mara asks if she can have her shoes back. The police gave the students new clothes and made them wait at the police station. Dylan makes a snide comment about how this all sounds like a Cronenberg movie, but only Mara laughs. The others were talking about their theories about why it happened when one of the girls asked when they were going to let them go. Mara says it will happen when they can. Let's make sure this doesn't happen again to any of them. Mara's parents picked her up from the police station and took her home. When they arrived, she went to her room and smoked marijuana, then received a text from someone saying they had a crush. They continued texting and she laughed. The girl's funeral took place the next day. Mara and Tess witnessed the girl's father taking the sticker off her car. They then went to get some mushrooms from the Dalton twins. Tess thinks it's a bad idea. Then they drank coffee and Mara put all the mushrooms in her coffee cup. They have been friends since they were very young and planned to remain friends until they are old and live together in a house by the sea. They talk about the dead girl. When Dylan approached and offered to join them, he flirts with Mara and she realizes that he is the same person who texted her before. Dylan tells them that what happened made him think about life and now he wants to live it to the fullest. Mara gets thrush and vomits in the toilet while Dylan holds her hair. She started having hallucinations and told him about them. He thought it was great. His hallucinations continued throughout the night and he stayed with her. They talked about what happened and said neither of them missed watching it. Dylan takes her home and asks her out. Afterwards, she and Tess lay in bed and talk. Mara says she will not continue using drugs. Tess asks her if she ever cries and tells her that she always cries. It's the day of the back-to-school game and two girls go to school in disguise. They see that other students have built a shelter for the children. Daughter was dead when Dylan joined them. He recognizes Mara's outfit as Carrie. Later, the two talk in the library and she asks him how he fell in love with her. He tells her that it all started from the first day he saw her and everything grew up from there. The day the girl died and Mara said it could happen to them too, he decided to ask her out on a date and stopped waiting for the right time. During the match, she took photos of the athletes waiting for their jerseys to be lined up and spelled something dirty. He laughed at her jokes. Then she told him about the moment she realized she liked him. They were having fun together when something happened in the game. Everyone ran screaming because one of the players exploded. Dylan catches the city is becoming a big news story. The media have called what happened the Covington curse. Tess and Mara attend the final memorial service, where everyone mourns the deceased boy. The next day, his parents informed him that the school was closed indefinitely. They told her they would continue applying to college, so she was ready when it was all over. Mara jokes that they can't tell her now that their times are worse than what she's having now. That night, Dylan picks her up in the old ice cream truck he bought that day. He bought it to make people laugh. They both go to a school party to remember the deceased children, but they quickly went out for a walk. They throw away their drinks because they think alcohol might be causing this. They laughed, wondering what really upset the teenagers. After a while, they stopped and talked about her father, then they kissed. Suddenly they heard screaming coming from the house and went to check what had happened. Another student died. Mara and Tess talked to Agent Rossetti. She also didn't know what was going on. Rossetti asks for their help and tells them to get him something. She then goes to see the Dalton twins and tells them that the agent told her to bring him drugs. Mara believes the reason behind this is because the police think drugs are the cause, but just to check all possibilities. She told them she would buy them everything. The three of them went to where the twins were hiding their things. They told Mara they were leaving. Before long, she was telling them about Dylan while texting with him. Suddenly, the brother exploded. The girl quickly jumped into the driver's seat and tried to control the car, but it also exploded. Dylan finds the wrecked car but can't make it. He did not find Mara immediately. He sees a bloody handprint and goes looking for it in the woods. Dylan finds her washing dishes in the river and he hugs her, saying he thought she died in the car. He brings her a tracksuit and calls Rossetti before suddenly he sees someone wearing a hazmat suit following them. Immediately others appeared and grabbed them both. Mara was at the hospital when a doctor came and told her they were there to help her. She started to panic but saw Dylan in the bed next to her. They're doing E.T. joking with each other, confusing the doctors. That night, Dylan woke up and told him that the whole class was there too. She moved his bed closer to him and he told her the questions the doctors had asked him. He calls her his girlfriend and she likes it. The government has officially quarantined the entire classroom. The head doctor asked questions to the students. She asked them about the children who had passed away, their dreams and feelings, and what they wanted to do in college. Mara replies that she just wants to survive. That night, Mara and Tess talk in their bed. Tess fears this will happen to Mara and makes her promise it won't. She said if Mara goes then so will she. The next day, class took place in the recreation room. Mara complains that she's bored and says they should. No one wanted to do it or had tried it, so they started talking about the explosion. The two boys argued about whether it was a curse or not. Dylan shares a stupid idea and everyone makes fun of him. He and Mara kiss in the shower. A government official then showed the teens a PowerPoint presentation and offered to answer any questions they had. Mara doesn't understand what they are actually doing to help them and mocks him. The official gave a trite answer and the children laughed at him but were angry. Fast, one of them exploded. Then another exploded in his sleep. Tests are underway at the facility. The children's parents waited outside the facility and a doctor came out to tell one of the couples what had happened to their child. The children continued. They died and all the tests and medications they gave them failed. They all try to live as normally as possible inside, but one teen after another continues to explode. Even the doctors working in the facility were agitated. The blue pill everyone in the facility is happy with them. At some point, they released the children into the care of their parents. Mara's parents were driving her home when she noticed there were no Christmas decorations in town. Her father told her that no one felt festive, but when they got home, they surprised her with a tree. Later, the three of them were decorating the tree when her father gave her the vape and told her that she was bad at hiding the fact that she smoked weed. They all vape together and talk about adulthood and graduation. Before going to bed, Mara takes one of the blue pills. The next day, Dylan showed up at her house. They slept together for the first time. Mara asks him if they're safe and Dylan says he doesn't know, but they should take it one day at a time and go back to school. She doesn't want to go back. Their class is the only class that studies in the same building. One of their teachers told them about how he witnessed someone explode when he was a soldier. He told them he would help them graduate. Later, Rossetti takes Mara's blood pressure and they talk about the blue pills nicknamed the snooze button, which Mara doesn't like. Rossetti doesn't think it's over yet. On Valentine's Day, Mara decorates Dylan's barn and they both throw a party just for themselves. He tells her he loves her and she says it back. They laugh about it. Then Dylan asks her to spend the summer with him if they don't die. Tess and Mara are in a restaurant. We're waiting for their food, but the waitress was too scared to bring them food. They left. The next day, the doctor showed up at their school and explained the snooze button pill to them. She said that while it's not a cure, it is a treatment. The doctor asked for a volunteer to present his point of view, but as soon as the child began to follow his instructions, he flew into a rage. Suddenly, another one also exploded. Then a third. Everyone was exhausted, but the kids kept going. Explosive. Mara was with Dylan and couldn't reach Tess during the commotion. Everyone ran and tried to get out, while the children continued to explode. Mara is left behind, and when a schoolmate tries to help her, he explodes too. She found a door and left the school. Dylan meets her outside and they kiss. Suddenly, Dylan exploded right in front of her. Mara returns home covered in blood. Rossetti found her and took her to the hospital. A piece of his jaw hit her head. His mother came to the hospital and helped him bathe. That night, she slept between her parents. She got really depressed and stopped taking her medicine and refused to communicate. Dylan's funeral came and went. Tess tries to get it out of her room, but Mara just sat there watching Dylan's video. At one point, she left the room and made a cocktail for her father. Mara calls this cocktail "All My Friends and Boyfriends Are Dead." She drinks the drink and her father tells her he is not equipped to handle this. Mara tried to joke but continued to get drunk. She left the house drunk that night and the next day. arrives at Tess's house, still drunk. They argued about going to school. Tess doesn't know how to help her because Mara has lost all hope. She went to school, leaving Mara behind. Afterwards, Mara protests against the curse, then steals alcohol from a store. The people who work there let her take care of it. Officer Rossetti waited for her outside the store, and when Mara tried to throw the vodka bottle at him, she broke the window. She later argued with her parents about this and about being constantly drunk. They want to help her, but she doesn't want to play along and help them feel better, because she might die soon too. Mara walks into the room thinking about going to the prom, but then walks into a chat room where other students are talking about the Covington curse. They called it a curse, and she believed them. Mara goes to school and visits the girls' memorial first, then her classroom, and finally the place where Dylan died. It's prom night and Mara is sitting on the swing. Tess joins her and they start talking about their future again. She told Mara she was leaving Covington that evening. Before leaving, Tess tells Mara that she will always be her best friend. Mara arrives at the ball drunk. The atmosphere inside was terrible. Everyone was doing their own thing and she laughed about it, then threw a punch. His teacher did nothing. She took it with her and drank it alone. Then she went on stage and said she was sorry for killing everyone, sorry for being the curse. Mara says she hates herself for hurting people and then receives her diploma. The girl behind her said the same thing and scolded her. Suddenly the other girls said the same thing. Mara goes to the cemetery to visit Dylan's grave. She told him she loved him too and lay down on his grave. Her mother found her there and offered to join her, then lay down next to her. Mara apologizes for not coming to the funeral and tells her mother about the first time she met Dylan. Her mother said he told her he was holding Mara's hair and the girl asked her if she thought it was bad news. The mother said she just thought Marawa was in a lot of pain and didn't know how to deal with it. Mara said she told him she felt like she was going to die and she was scared all the time. Dylan's mother says life is like that sometimes and no child deserves what happened to them. Mara asked her if she was okay, and when she shook her head, the girl hugged her back. She came home the next day with her parents waiting for her. Mara apologizes to them and they reconcile. Finally, she took off the bandage and remembered Dylan looking at the scar. After a few months, the explosion stopped. Mara says goodbye to Rossetti. She kept hitting the snooze button and moving on with her life. Mara leaves college in Dylan's truck. Her parents worried if it was safe, but let her go anyway. They say goodbye to her and she leaves. She passed by the school that was about to be demolished. By the end of the school year, 31 students had died. Mara survives, although she doesn't know why. She says the lesson is that everyone dies and you should also live life the way you want. Mara can imagine her future, what she will do and the boys she will date or marry. She thinks that one day she will even become a mother, or maybe even president. Ultimately, bad things will happen. That is inevitable. She won't waste her life waiting for something that may never happen to her. Mara imagines a future where she and Tess grow old together in the beach house they desire. She will no longer be afraid, because she can die at any time and so can you. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.